One of the most interesting aspects of a public persona is how the highs and lows of your professional career are in the public domain and available for gruesome scrutiny. Actors and their careers are often judged by the financial performance of their films. Audiences often categorize artists depending on the kind of films they associate themselves with. The public often categorize them as artists who work on projects as actors, stars who over the years have amassed a huge amount of wealth, and then you have individuals that try their part but fail to establish themselves. The bubble that I want to burst through this video is that success is often observed through a narrow lens when only the box office success of actors is looked into account. These actors, over the several investments that they have and the passive income that allows them to be afloat in an expensive city like Mumbai, also take up several portfolios that make up different sources of revenue. So be it hosting gigs, live events, exclusive dance numbers, or even sports commentary, I think it would be naive of anyone to think that actors who aren't appearing in films aren't doing well for themselves. Side note, some of the individuals that I'm talking about actually are doing much better financially than most of the familiar faces in films. One of the most fruitful jobs in this regard that is often overlooked is dubbing. There are several names that you and many know about but don't know the magnitude of work they have done in lending their voices to some of the most iconic characters and celebrities. These individuals have become dependable artists that have made a name for themselves as voiceover artists. Before I get into the video, I would also highly recommend you subscribe to the channel Talent Tadka that exclusively focuses on voiceover artists, the industry, what goes into it, and the various faces involved in some of the most famous projects. Without further ado, here is Tried&Refused Productions with 10 shocking real voices of the most famous Bollywood and Hollywood movie characters and celebrities. Richa Nigam. Probably one of the most recognizable voices from Indian advertising is that of Richa Nigam. If you look at some of the most famous advertisements from Surf Excel, Paperboat to the recent Comfort fabric conditioner, you would know exactly what I'm talking about when I'm referring to her unique husky voice.
Surf Excel, that अच्छे हैं. Paperboat, drinks and memories.
An individual who left advertising to work as an assistant director in feature films and stumbled upon the profession of voiceover is one of the most sought after artists we have in the country today. Mohan Kapoor. A supporting actor that you may have seen in several films is Mohan Kapoor. This is an actor that seems to be a part of several ensemble casts, having the ability to assimilate in the several fictional worlds created by artists. From Jolly LLB, Happy New Year and Sadak 2, Mohan Kapoor is a very familiar face, but very few people know that he is hired on a regular basis for dubbing the most famous Hollywood films in Hindi. While he has dubbed for Bruce Willis in Die Hard and Dwayne Johnson from the Fast and the Furious series, my favorite has been his voiceover work for Bane from The Dark Knight Rises.
Harvey Dent, जिसे आपके सामने एक न्याय की मूर्ति बनाकर पेश किया गया है.
It does tell you the sheer range of talent some of the artists in India possess. Rajesh Khattar, a face especially familiar to all of you because of his television appearances, is the talented actor Rajesh Khattar. While the general audience would assume that he is a supporting actor just because of his appearances in Bollywood films, only cinephiles would understand that he may just be the most utilized voice in famous Hollywood movies to communicate at a mass level in India in the Hindi language. The man has been doing dubbing work since the late 90s and still is contributing his baritone voice to the most popular characters. From Agent Simmons in Transformers, Robert Langdon in Da Vinci Code and Angels and Demons, to Jack Sparrow in Pirates of the Caribbean. I think it's safe to say Rajesh Khattar's voice as Tony Stark or the Iron Man made him a household name.
हो सकता है तुम्हारी फौजियां आए, हो सकता है हम पर भारी भी पड़े, लेकिन इसके जिम्मेदार तुम ही होगे. क्योंकि अगर हम पृथ्वी को बचा नहीं पाए तो इसका बदला जरूर लेंगे.
Sanjeev Matri, probably the most unknown face to the general public but the most utilized voice in the international superhero franchises for dubbing in the Hindi language is Sanjeev Matri. Can you imagine that the Hindi dubbed voice for Deadpool, Shazam, Captain America and Hawkeye is the same person? He is also responsible for most of the Hindi dubbing of famous Telugu films of Allu Arjun and Mahesh Babu.
हाथों का इस्तेमाल करते करते हाथों की लकीरें खिंच जाएंगी. तुम ज्यादा डिटेल में मत जाओ, इतना समझ लो कि गड़बड़ है.
The man is extremely talented and just the number of characters that he voices gives you an idea of the command over the language and the modulation that is required to execute such a complex job. When Sanjeev Matri was replaced by Ranveer Singh to voice Deadpool, many viewers missed the texture and brilliant execution of the veteran voiceover artist. RJ Aditya. A surprising piece of information that I again got to know through the Talent Tadka YouTube channel is that RJ Aditya helped in contributing to finishing the sections of dubbing for Dil Bechara that the late Sushant Singh Rajput could not complete. Blown away by the fact that I did not notice any abrupt changes throughout the film, it does tell you the stellar job that the RJ did for voicing Sushant in the film. The last sequence as Manny speaks to Kinsey is actually voiced by the dubbing artist.
जन्म कब लेना है और मरना कब है हम डिसाइड नहीं कर सकते, पर कैसे जीना है वो हम डिसाइड कर सकते हैं. सो किसी बासु, ये राजा तो मर गया, पर मेरी रानी अभी जिंदा है और तब तक हमारी कहानी भी जिंदा है.
Sameth, another voice that comes into the category of many people not knowing the individual but recognizing their voice is Sameth, a man who has voiced several famous characters in Hindi. While some of his most popular work includes voicing the Hulk in the Avengers series, Sirius Black in Prisoners of Azkaban, and Katappa in Bahubali, I think his most impactful role to me as I remember watching the film as a child was his dubbing in Aparichit, a voice all of you will recognize immediately after the dialogues are delivered.
लोगों की एकता से ही भारत बनता है. प्रधानमंत्री, मुख्यमंत्री, मंत्री, अधिकारी, आप, हम सब आम आदमी ही तो हैं. हर कोई अपना कर्तव्य ठीक से निभाएगा तभी ये देश आगे बढ़ेगा.
Sonal Kaushal. So there was a time where all of our favorite cartoons had become dubbed in Hindi. While other channels like Nickelodeon still would offer cartoons in English, a lot of children and adolescent teenagers had to assimilate to these Hindi dubbed voices. While things have of course changed since 15 years ago, in recent years an artist that has become a regular feature of cartoons in India is Sonal Kaushal, who has voiced not only for films like Alice Through the Looking Glass and The Incredibles, but was the famous voice of Doraemon that became entrenched in everyone's memory until someone else has been hired recently.
हेलो दोस्तों, मेरा नाम है डोरेमोन. नोबिता मेरा सबसे अच्छा दोस्त.
You can check out her YouTube channel, The Motor Mouth, where she uploads regularly. It again makes me re-engineer my thought process and acknowledge just the range of available work for so many artists. Ninad Kamath. When I saw Ram Prasad Ki Tervi this year, it was so lovely to see Ninad Kamath on the big screen, an actor that I have seen sporadically in both films as well as television. While the man is a terrific actor, creators gravitate towards him due to his exemplary voice, a voice that has been utilized for so many famous films. While he has provided his voice for Will Smith in Men in Black and Rocket in Guardians of Galaxy, it is his Hindi dialogue delivery as Thanos that made him a national sensation.
आज मैंने जो खोया है वो तुम नहीं जानती, लेकिन ये अफसोस करने का वक्त नहीं है. अब तो वक्त ही नहीं है.
The craziest part about the actor is that he is not only dubbed for international films, but Indian actors for advertisements as well, ranging from Amitabh Bachchan, Sachin Tendulkar to even Salman Khan.
Well, we have made a film now called Ram Prasad Ki Tervi. And I would suggest that everybody should go and watch it at least once.
Mona Ghosh Shetty. The famous voice that made initial performances of Katrina Kaif, Nargis Fakhri and Jacqueline Fernandez tolerable is Mona Ghosh Shetty. Actors who have become superstars now did not know the language at all back then. And even though after close to a decade, the names that I just said do their own dubbing and have worked on the Hindi language to some degree, a lot of credit has to be given to the perfect dubbing by Mona Ghosh Shetty, who by the way still dubs for many actresses. Fun fact, Mona Ghosh Shetty also dubbed for Deepika Padukone in her first film Om Shanti Om. Sharad Kelkar. With phenomenal performances in movies like Tanaji, Lakshmi and Darban, Sharad Kelkar is making it clear that he is an actor that is here to stay. While he has had a long and tough journey as an artist, you exactly know why he makes it to the list. Voicing Prabhas in Bahubali established Kelkar also as a global star.
बाहुबली के लिए डर रहे हो क्या? जब तक तुम मेरे साथ हो मुझे मारने वाला पैदा नहीं हुआ मामा.
The man is not only restricted to that massive hit, but lends his voice to the dubbing of several global hits including XXX Xander Cage, Mad Max, and Jason Statham in Hobbs and Shaw. And that was the video, guys. Write down in the comments below whether you have some video ideas for our channel. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram. The handle is right in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead. Thank you for watching.